is Monday, and I'm so excited. I love Mondays because I like that whole thing about Motivational Monday, trying to find something on my Monday to motivate me and to get me looking forward to the rest of the week. And I found something today. I am so glad that I have with us Elizabeth Engen, and she has a wonderful story to share with us. She's going to be talking a little bit about how she got involved in wellness, and also a little bit about this wonderful summit that she's co-hosting that I think is just awesome. Before we get to her, I first want to tell you, make sure you check out the other shows on the New Earth International Television Network. There's so many great shows for women, about women, by women. Wellness Woman is just one of the shows. And, you know, on this show, I love to bring on people to talk about wellness and how they came to be well and to give you some tips on things that you need to do to sustain your wellness. And, you know, we're on the countdown. I am now officially, I think it's 32 days before 60. So these next few shows, we're going to be talking about different kinds of things that I try to do to stay well. And we're going to talk about that when it comes in conjunction to this wellness summit that I'm involved with. The name of the wellness summit is and I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly, the Naturally Beautiful and Optimal Wellness Summit. I happen to be blessed enough to be one of the presenters, and Elizabeth Engen, who's our guest today, also was the host. And I just am so excited to have her here because I wanted her to share a little bit about the summit, but also she has a wonderful story of wellness herself. So Elizabeth Engen, welcome to the Wellness Woman Show. It's so wonderful to have you here.
Thank you so much, Lynnis. It's great to be here, and I must have not written, I must have very bad handwriting. My name is Elizabeth Engen.
Okay, you know what? I'm kind of like looking above the screen here. It's Engen. No, it's not you. It's me, Engen. Oh, spell it for me, please.
It's E-N-G-E-N.
Okay, I'm giving you a new name. It was Engen, so it's Engen. Elizabeth Engen. And Elizabeth, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to host the summit.
Well, thank you for having me. It's great to be here, and this is a great kickoff to my week as well. It really, really is. So thank you for having me. So I own a marketing company, and I love to help people just make their businesses shine. And so I got together 21 experts in various fields of health, wellness, fitness, all, you know, yoga instructors. You are a holistic wellness professional. We have all different types of people, and I wanted to help them shine. So what we did is we interviewed all of these 21 experts, and we just, you know, I asked them about their journey and their stories. And a common theme, my own story is that, you know, I've had illnesses that were attributed to a lot of different things. One of the main issues was around nutrition. So that's something I kind of wanted to highlight on the summit. And that's a lot what we talked about. But I got all of these people together, promoting them, promoting their businesses, just so people can learn about natural solutions on how to get better health and wellness for themselves. So I found it fascinating, Lynnis. I learned from you. I've been drinking room temperature water in the morning with lemon and ginger and cucumbers, and it's been amazing. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, tell us a little bit about the kinds of topics you mentioned. You're talking. You have experts in different fields of wellness field. They're talking about topics that can help us be well. What are some of the topics you talked about? Some of the things you covered.
That's an interesting question. I suppose you can ask, what didn't we talk about? Because there's just such a wide range. So, for instance, you know, you talked, you know, about nutrition, you talked about wellness, you talked about, you know, recovering from anxiety, but some of my other guests have talked about balancing their hormones naturally. We have a guest on that his work on the world is, he's an energy expert, so he talked a lot about circadian rhythm and how to correct that. So many, we have a couple naturopathic doctors on the show. We've got a chiropractor. We have a doctor of oriental medicine, and his work in the world is he helps people kind of move their energy if they've had any stuck energy in their body. I personally have worked with him. He's an amazing practitioner. We have all kinds of, we even have some business coaches, but they have their own personal story of health and wellness and how they got better. And they talk a lot about their, mindset issues. So all of our guests talk about mind, body, soul. They talk about all areas of wellness. I found it very fascinating to be interviewing all the people.
It was very interesting to interview. And you asked me a question that I think you asked everybody. So I'm going to ask you a question. What does it mean to you to be optimally well? And how did you arrive to that definition? What is optimal wellness to you?
Well, that's a great question. And that is the question I ask everybody, because the name of the summit is the Naturally Beautiful and Optimal Wellness Summit. And so I just thought that that's a great common theme for everyone. And what does it mean to me? To me, it means that it means that you strive for wellness no matter what your present circumstances are. And that doesn't mean that if you're sick, you're looking for a solution. It means that you're trying to be the best you can be, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all areas of your life.
And I agree with that. I think that, optimum wellness means that you're really kind of working on all those three facets. You're not focusing on any one facet. You're looking at working all of them together. And it's kind of an ongoing journey. I don't know if we're ever totally and completely well, because if your body's together, then maybe you're emotional one day. Or if you're, feeling great in your mind, you've talking about those 5 pounds you want to lose. There's always something. But I think what really is important is part of being optimally well is your approach to that. Not beating up on yourself, being happy with who you are right now in this moment in time without feeling like you got to have this huge makeover. When I lose the weight, when I'm not depressed, when I have lots of money in the bank, when I'm spiritually uplifted, then I shall have, nirvana, or then I shall have happiness, but it's not always like that. Sometimes we have to kind of put ourselves in a space where no matter what's coming at us, that we're going to still maintain that optimal expectation of wellness, as we continue on. So tell us about you. You mentioned a little bit earlier that nutrition was kind of your thing. What's your wellness story? What happened to you?
Well, what didn't happen to me? No. So my story is, I have a couple of stories. My first story is that I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. Mm-hmm. And before that, actually, I was diagnosed with depression, and my doctor had said that I had so much chronic stress in my life, which I didn't know how to deal with either. I had so much of that stress in my life that it depleted a lot of the chemicals in my brain. So, so I dealt with depression for a long time. And then I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. So I had to self-educate myself in terms of, how to eat better, how to exercise, just kind of self-care things. And it was a journey, like you were talking about. It's the layers, and it's learning more and more and more. So chronic fatigue syndrome I had and it wasn't diagnosed right away. I was raising a young daughter. I was working many hours during the week. And then on the weekends, I just have to be laying in bed. And it was really frustrating. It was hard. It was just like this cycle, and it was difficult. And my daughter hated it. She wanted to play with me. She wanted her mommy, and it wasn't happening. So I think things started to get better when I started taking better care of myself. And I think nutrition, looking back after several years of trying to get better, I think nutrition was a big component. I don't think I was eating all the right foods or all the things that I needed to be eating. I think that was a big component for me. And then,
I was going to say, there's a lot of women out there that might be suffering from chronic fatigue, and they don't know it. And I know it's a buzzword these days too. You hear a lot about it. But what were some of your symptoms? I know you were tired, but were there other symptoms that your doctor said later? Okay, yeah, that's chronic fatigue. Were there other things that you suffered from?
It was so hazy. No, it was no matter how much sleep, it was almost a lot like depression. As much as, I could not get any sleep, or I could get 12 or 13 hours of sleep. No matter how much sleep I got, I was constantly exhausted. And I didn't have the energy for it.
Okay. Yeah. And so what did you begin to do? You mentioned you changed your diet, but what would you say were like maybe like the top 3 things or something that you did that you really began to see a difference when you started that journey? What was some of the major things that you saw that, wow, what a difference?
Well, one thing is movement, constant movement. You know, when you're tired and if you have pain in your body, you know, it's kind of counterintuitive to think I'm going to move my body. But the more I move my body, the more I did yoga or just even walking, anything that I could, I got better. So that was the first thing. And the second thing really was the mindset and really talking to people and prayer, kind of that's almost that spiritual part of it. That was very, very key. And then again, it was the nutrition, the more vegetables, the more good things I was putting into my body. Because if you think about it, and we've all probably heard it, garbage in, garbage out. And so the garbage was just kind of in my body, in myself, in my mind.
Right. That's true. I was thinking movement, you said, and mindset was another one. And I was also saying at some point you have to have the motivation to want to get better. Where did you find that motivation? I know you had your little girl. I know that helps, but how else did you pull that out from underneath? That motivation?
I think that's a great question. I think I got sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
Because I think I was in that position for so long that it just, I didn't want to be there anymore. I mean, because for 5 years is a very long time. It's a very, very long time. And so how did I come up with that motivation? I think I just wanted something different. So I think I just really made a decision. I am going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to pay as much money as I need to get better. And I think it kind of comes down to that. You have to draw the line in the sand and say, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Because I don't think half measures help us. I don't think we get better from half measures. I think we really have to do whatever it takes.
You know, that's interesting too, because I like what you said. You decided to go ahead and spend the money that was necessary to get well. And come on now, ladies, okay? I know some of you think, well, you know, you want to have your hair done, your nails done, the newest outfit, those, you know, red bottom shoes and all this other stuff you want to have, you know. And when you think about it, well, gee, I don't want to spend money on this particular modality or that to be well because I can't afford it. But it's almost like you really can't afford not to. Because look at how the quality of your life improved once you invested in yourself and started feeling better.
Absolutely. And along those same lines, 6 years ago, I started having back pain kind of out of the blue. I didn't have an injury. It's not like I played any kind of sports and I was tackled, anything like that. You know, it came out of the blue. So it was very surprising. And it was the same thing. When I had constant pain for a certain amount of time, I ended up spending $10,000 for a brand new bed that my chiropractor said, you are going to sleep better. And when you lay down, you're going to have comfort. And I did. And I'm so glad I did that.
It's amazing. And I want to tell all the ladies out there, when we're talking about being optimally well, the first step, I think, to being optimally well is really wanting to have the desire to listen to what your body is telling you. Your body tells you stuff, you know. If you are, you know, really, really tired and you don't want to get out of bed, like you were saying, it's like going on for a long, long time, your body's trying to tell you that something's going on. That's not normal. I don't care how old you are, whether you're 25 or 65. If you are feeling tired all the time, you wake up tired, there's something going on with that. And so many times when we get these symptoms and things, we kind of push them back in our minds and we don't address them. I think the idea of deciding to make up your mind, okay, I'm going to find out what this is. And you know what? Another thing, don't be afraid of it. Fear can sometimes be very crippling in terms of getting us to move past whatever it is that's causing us to be sick. We're afraid to find out. And you know, I've always learned that it's never as bad as what we might think it is. When you found out that you had chronic fatigue, what was your reaction to that?
Well, I think I was very surprised because I knew it was something. I knew I wasn't making it up in my head. You know, I knew it was something. But then when there was a name to it, I did feel relief, because then it was like, okay, other people have had this. Now, all I need to do is kind of plug in and find out what other people have done to get better. Because for a long time, I think I felt like really alone because my friends didn't have that issue. No one in my family had that issue. So I didn't have anybody to talk to ask any questions. So I did. I felt really relieved. And I was almost happy that I was like, okay, now I can deal with this, because I think when something is not known, for me anyway, I didn't feel like I could move forward because I didn't know what to do.
Well, knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you grow. I think it's important for us to educate ourselves. And that's why I love the idea of this summit. Now, where can people go to get the information to attend the summit and to hear all your different wonderful guests?
Well, that also is another great question. I wish we could post, I've got a bit.ly link. So my company is Premier SEO Ninjas, which is PREMIER SEO NINJAS. It's easier than you think. If you go to Facebook, I've got a few of the people that have been on the summit, and there's links there. So if you go to our Facebook page, it's right there. You just click on it, and you go to the page, and your pretty picture's on the page.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously I got the email yesterday, but I haven't actually looked at it. It's been one of those crazy days. I'm going to go to right there, and I'm going to ask my producer Rachel if we can put that link in the content of the description of this show so people can go to it, because I did read the content. It's wonderful, and I did go to that first page, and I signed up for the summit myself. It's really simple. It doesn't cost anything but like maybe 5 minutes or less of your time. You need to go there and sign up for the summit. Wonderful information, and it's free. I mean, you can't get better than that from some of the premier experts in the country in terms of how to be well, how to find out different modalities and things that you can do. I know you mentioned energy work, and I love that because I do that. I don't do it myself. I go to an energy healer. These are things that you may not normally get at the doctor's office, but that doesn't mean that it's woo-woo. Not at all. These things, they really do work, and they can make an awesome difference in your life. When people are watching the summit, what is it that you want them to take away from the summit?
I just want people to maybe learn and identify with themselves and what they might have to learn, or maybe just and they might not have to learn, but just be in a place of just be grateful for the information that we're providing, because along my journey, I've learned things for myself, and I had to do a lot of digging to get that information. So hopefully this information is out there that someone can find and learn something new, like a new modality or something new about themselves. Because like you said, over the last 20 some years, I've been on this journey. Well, we all have.
Yes,
but
journey.
what ends up happening, I believe, is that people start seeking out answers, when they need to. Like, for example, for me, when I was in pain or I had a diagnosis, why not do it when you're well, right? If you want better wellness.
Absolutely. And also, I want to make sure people know what it is that you do. You are an SEO expert and a marketing expert also. I think you mentioned the site, but one thing that's interesting, ladies, because I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs that listen to our show. She does a wonderful job when it comes to search engine optimization and also helping people grow their business, especially online. Do you specialize online in particular?
We do, yeah. We absolutely do. Yeah.
Okay. So now the name of that site was a site where they can also find the link. It's premierninjas.com.
Yes. Our website is premierseoninjas.com, and that's our Facebook page as well. Twitter, yeah, all the accounts. But we do specialize in online marketing for companies. We do a whole lot of things. One thing I love about the summit is that we like to provide 1,000 leads in 90 days to people. We do that through video marketing. So yeah, it's exciting. We do a whole lot of things.
Oh, I love that. Okay, everybody, for those of you just starting your business, this is a lady to talk to. 1,000 leads. My gosh, that's an awesome way to start your business. Fantastic. Well, thank you, Elizabeth. It's so wonderful to have you on The Wellness Woman. Thank you so much for all that you're doing to help spread the word about wellness. It's wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you to all of you. I'm so glad you stopped by to listen to the Wellness Woman Show. Just remember, every Monday evening around 6 or so, we show up with wonderful experts in the field of health and wellness to find out what kinds of things you need to be doing to stay well in your mind, your body, and your spirit. This is Lynnis with Wellness Woman Show, and we'll see you again next time.
Bye.
Bye.